Chapter 5. Freedom Redefined, when Daniel finally stood before the parole board at age 28. He wasn't the same man who had stumbled into Brenton prison terrified and angry. He stood upright. He spoke clearly. He took full responsibility for his crimes. He explained what he'd done to better himself and others. One board member asked, "What will you do if given a second chance?" Daniel answered without hesitation, "I'll give second chances to others. Someone believed in me when I didn't deserve it. I want to pay that forward." 2 weeks later, he was granted parole. The day he walked out, he expected to feel free immediately. But freedom wasn't the sun on his face or the wind on his clothes. Freedom was seeing Mia, now a college student, running toward him, tears streaming, yelling his name. Freedom was hugging her and realizing she still believed in him. Chapter 6. The mentor he became life after prison wasn't easy. Employers turned him away when they learned about his record. He slept on a friend's couch for months. He struggled to afford food some weeks. Some nights he questioned whether people like him were even meant to start over. But Daniel kept remembering Reggie's words. "Rewrite what you become." So he did. He volunteered at a youth center. He started speaking at community schools about avoiding crime. He returned to the Innocence and Rehabilitation Program, this time as a free man, offering mentorship to newly released inmates. He earned a small grant to start a workshop that taught job skills, sewing machine repair, basic electrical work, the same skills he learned from Reggie in prison. Within a year, he helped more than 40 former inmates find jobs. Within 3 years, the number grew into the hundreds. He visited prisons regularly to talk to men who felt hopeless. He showed them his badge, not of authority, but of belief. "I was where you are. Let me show you where you can go." Daniel became known statewide, then nationally, not as a criminal, not as a mistake, but as a mentor, a teacher, a guide. He even reunited with Reggie Wandane, now an old man finally released after decades when laws changed. Daniel helped him find housing, medical care, and a community. Reggie hugged him and whispered, "Son, you exceeded me." Chapter 7. The man who kept going more than 10 years after his release. Daniel stood on a stage at a national leadership conference. He wasn't famous. He wasn't rich. But his voice carried weight because everything he said was rooted in scars, forgiveness, and healing. He said, "Prison didn't save me. People did. And now it's my turn." The audience gave a standing ovation. But the applause wasn't what mattered to Daniel. What mattered was seeing Lois, the first young inmate he ever mentored, standing in the front row, a social worker who helped at-risk teens. What mattered was seeing his sister Mia smiling with pride. What mattered was knowing he had become the man he wished he had when he was young. The message of his life. Daniel Ross didn't escape his past. He didn't forget it. He didn't hide it. He used it. He took the chains that once defined him and forged them into tools to uplift others. His story reminds us that not every mistake is a life sentence. Not every prisoner is lost forever, and sometimes the strongest mentors are the ones who once needed guidance the most. Daniel didn't just leave prison. He walked out a free man long before the doors ever opened.